One of the best recent developments in watch history is the rise of the affordable mechanical GMT. We hear the acronym GMT and we might think of the Rolex GMT Master, but that design is so played out it has been done to death. Fortunately, the Miyota 9075 and Seiko NH34 automatic movements have paved the way for mechanical GMT watches costing less than $500, and this has allowed smaller brands that are willing to take more of a design risk to come up with something different. Something like this. The Maystone Prosperity GMT Black Hawk. It is part of the first collection of watches by new British micro brand Maystone, and they are inspired by birds of prey. You can buy this watch right now on the Maystone website for £349 British or around $470 US plus any shipping and taxes. The question is, should you? Hello there, if you're new here, my name is Louis and this is As Time Decides. For transparency, this watch was sent to me by the brand and I get to keep it, but as always, all opinions and thoughts in this video are my own. So first impressions of this watch, well, one word springs to mind, class. This watch is a bit different to the usual GMT fare. It has a much more dressy and elegant vibe. There is no rotating bezel, instead the 24-hour scale sits within a raised chapter ring on the dial in two-tone grey and white, and the bezel is highly polished stainless steel. The tops of the twisted lugs are also finished with a high polish, and the sides of the case are brushed satin. There's a signed screw-down crown, and the case back is engraved with the Maystone logo, which affords the watch a water resistance rating of 100 meters. The case looks and feels extremely well done. The diameter of the case is 38 millimeters, with a thickness of around 12 millimeters and lug to lug of 46 millimeters, a nice set of dimensions. It works just fine on my small 6-inch or 15.2 centimeter wrist, but it will probably look even better on a slightly bigger wrist, up to about 7 inches perhaps. The dial is a matte black with printed text and it holds up really well under macro. Printing is sharp and this is especially noticeable in the 24-hour scale where the scale transitions. The hour markers are applied with Arabic numerals for the 12, 3 and 9 and what the brand describes as talon style markers for the rest of the hour markers, except for the 6 o'clock where a framed date window sits instead. The date window isn't colour matched with the dial. Instead, it is matched to the lower portion of the 24-hour scale. The date window provides the watch with a pleasing symmetry. The highly polished hour markers are not loomed, rather there are small accompanying loom plots for each hour marker. The loom isn't bad, there just isn't much of it, and so it isn't the most effective in low light. The sparing use of loom is also evident on the sword, hour and minute hands and the orange arrowhead GMT hand. It suits the dressier vibe this watch is going for, but if loom is a really important factor for you, it's definitely something worth bearing in mind. The crystal is sapphire and it looks like it has an AR coating, but it isn't great. It does reflect a lot of light, so perhaps there is room for improvement there. The watch is powered by the Seiko NH34A, which is essentially the NH35A with the GMT complication. It beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, or 3 Hz, with an accuracy rating of plus 40 seconds to minus 20 seconds per day, and a power reserve of around 41 hours. These numbers are nothing to write home about, but it is reasonably accurate and reliable. An interesting fact is that the recommended service interval for the branded Seiko 4R34, which this movement is based on, is every 2 to 3 years. Presumably it accounts for the watch being worn on a daily basis, but it's still a bit of a mind-blowing nugget of information. I can't imagine there's many people sticking to that service interval. If you unscrew the crown, you can hand wind the watch. If you pull the crown out to the first position, turning it clockwise adjusts the GMT hand, and turning it anti-clockwise sets the date. That means pulling it out to the second position will adjust the minute hand. It is a hackable movement, meaning you can set the time precisely. I'm not the biggest NH35 fan, I've said it many times before. I much prefer the Miyota 9 series, which allows for a thinner case, but in fairness, using a Miyota would bump up the price a little bit. The GMT complication is often used to track 2 time zones, but you can also set the GMT hand to the GMT time zone, which you can then use to convert the time in any part of the world, as long as you know the local time relative to GMT. For example, New York is GMT plus 5, so you can look at the GMT hand and add 5 hours. Alternatively, if you never leave the gloominess of your mother's basement, you can use the GMT hand to track the local 24-hour time, so you can tell the difference between night and day. Let's talk about the bracelet. The links are pretty flat, with brushed outer links and polished centre links, again epitomising the dressier vibe this watch is going for. It has a little bit of a jangly feel to it, I'll be honest, but it does use solid links and is adjusted with screws, which is nice to see, and it was very easy for me to adjust, I must admit. It tapers from 20mm at the lugs to 16mm at the push button milled clasp, which has an on-the-fly micro adjustment. These systems are becoming a lot more commonplace, which is great. The only downside is that the clasp can sit slightly to one side or the other, rather than being perfectly centered. It also has a quick release spring bar system, which is great for quick strap changes. This particular model variant is the Black Hawk, but it's also available in a bluey green and white colourway called Serene Skies, and a two-tone steel and gold version with a brown dial called the Golden Eagle. I initially asked for the Golden Eagle, and I'll be honest, it's still my favourite of the trio, but sadly that one sold out quickly. Sadly for me, not for the brand of course. The Golden Eagle can easily be described as a little flashy, even gaudy, but the same can't be said about the Black Hawk, which is elegant and classy and a little bit understated. Surprisingly, this is the worst selling of the three and is in stock to purchase right now, whereas the other two models are available on back order only. I'll drop a link in the description below if you want to check them out. So what are my overall thoughts on the watch? Well, I think if you were one of the lucky few to get in at the initial pre-order price of £299, you've got yourself a pretty nifty little bargain. But even £349 is a fair price. For the money, you're getting a well-made watch, the design that isn't absolutely groundbreaking, but with enough design cue differences to make it its own thing. And it's a true Gada watch with the specs to back it up. It's the type of watch that looks equally at home on the beach as it does at the office or on a date night, and you can always throw on a rubber or leather strap if you want to dress it down or dress it up to max out the casualness or dressiness. Remember, the Prosperity GMT is Maystone's first watch, and I'm very impressed, I have to say, so it'll be interesting to see what else the brand comes up with in the future. I've heard there are some new colourways coming as well, so keep your eyes on the brand's socials to keep up to date with that. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's all I've got time for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.